Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
To this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. And this is a lunar segment. We had our new moon. We're entering into our second lunar cycle of this annual cycle, and first at the equator. So early this morning, where I am in North America on the Pacific coast, we transited into that new moon and the solar eclipse, which was quite potent. Was up meditating with it. This week, potentially for many, has been a little opportunity to practice surfing, a big swell, if you will. And hopefully you're feeling carried at this point in as we enter into this lunar cycle. And today we're going to talk about swinging high versus swinging low, and the value of observing the emptiness in every situation. So these talks, before we go into that, are meant, we have a little Dharma talk, Suzanne style, then we have silent meditation, and then sound. The Dharma talks are meant to give you some base practices that you can integrate real time whenever you meet them into your life and into maybe some of your additional theological practices or non-belief beliefs, all those things. These will be helpful tools so that you can continue to transform and swing high, if you will. So we've talked before that about the higher states of being. So when someone's in higher states of being, you're going to have qualities of love, compassion, empathy, these things that vibrate at a level where the only way they can sustain in that space is to remain right there in this purest form of love. And the true causes of all happiness is a pure love, a purity. And as soon as we pop out of that frequency, for lack of better syntax, we will drop down back into the wheel of suffering. And in the wheel of suffering, there's all kinds of things. There's afflictive emotions. There are grasping for things we want, all aspects. And when we potentially reach into some of these higher frequencies and then pop back down, because we are in human suits, it's an opportunity to practice and to make a conscious decision. And so sometimes there will be moments that are karmic. And in those karmic moments, really, like, you can't avoid it. And this is where cause and effect comes into play, that ideally, I shouldn't say that. Ideally, you would avoid it. Like, if karma's ripening and it's going to take you into an afflictive emotion, then the opportunity is to not go there. However, sometimes it happens. And the reason for that is not just so the person can maybe like be back in the realm of suffering, but it can also serve the whole entire condition that's unfolding in that present moment. And that can be disorienting, but it's a good practice. And no matter how you meet it, it'll give you an opportunity to really examine why that was destined to come up again, and what do you want to do with it, and kind of recommitting to yourself where you want to be. And so it truly is a choice in every moment if we want to swing high or swing low. Now, as a human, as we continue, if we so to choose, to transform, liberate ourselves from afflictive actions, words, thoughts, that we have this opportunity to do that work, and then potentially hold that resonance longer and longer and longer. And eventually you'll exit completely out of this field of samsara. Now, the aka suffering. Now, the curious part here is sometimes people will be like, oh, I can just hang out in quote unquote love, peace, happiness, compassion. However, that is a grasping concept versus the purest form of love, which has no attachment, is not grasping for anything, and is really holding a resonance. And so that vibration, one can feel it, and others will feel it too, that are ready to be in that state of being. However, when other people are around, when you're in a physical suit, that can pull those individuals back down into samsara. And that would just be a reflective mirror to those people, that they have more practice to do, that they at least are touching that point, but they still have the inner work to do. And that's why we call this a practice, because just like anything, if you go to the gym and you want, a nice ab wall, you got to do some exercises to do that. If you want to free your mind, you're gonna have to work at it. There's no way around it. So I caution everyone when they have ideas and they've intellectualized non-duality and everything's the same. Yes, of course, when you move beyond, but remember, when you move beyond, there's two things that happens. And this element happens a lot in spiritual communities. They can pontificate these concepts, yet they haven't practiced them, and they can use them for spiritual deception, meaning that, it's just, it's easy peasy, it's just like that. The reality, it's not, because otherwise we wouldn't have so many people suffering right now if it was that easy. And we would have more discipline and respect for one another, because we know it's not that easy. So we're working this out as we come out of these lower collective realms together. So the important part is, yes, you could intellectualize these concepts, but the most important part is to practice. And when one starts practicing, it'll start to open up as like a flower, like that lotus, the proverbial lotus on the pond, opening up to those higher states of consciousness. And then it's just to see if one can retain it. So as we learn to have this dance with one another, and most importantly with ourselves, because all you can do is be responsible for yourself. And as you're accumulating karma by cause and effect, by past actions in the present moment, you will understand that there will be times when dissonance happens, things erupt, and that's you're paying off some debt, or someone else is paying off some debt, and you're there as part of it. It's all interrelated, but basically in that moment, you're getting to free yourself from that and get clear. Again, where do I want to reside? Do I want to stay in the suffering game, or do I want to swing high? And so as we enter into this new lunar cycle, we have this opportunity to really think about that, and to enter into this cycle with that awareness. So whatever's been showing up this past week, and this is a good habit, as I've mentioned, when you're coming into a new moon, just to notice what's rising up. And to go back, I skipped over a part. Please excuse me for that. And as to understand, this was just coming to me, when you intellectualize something and don't practice it, it basically, you can become an agitator to the higher realms, meaning that you are perpetuating suffering by not being fully aware of what is in and around you. And when you don't have awareness of what's in and around you, that's okay. But the thing is, you miss out on certain interactions with certain beings because you'd rather wrestle with them versus say, hey, let's have like a high frequency moment together. And it's not about a hierarchy. It's more about a resonance of where you want to be. And so the beauty is, the people that want to participate in suffering over and over again, they can. There's different spectrums of this in every lifetime that someone comes into a human form or any other form. And there's billions upon billions of world systems that one might land with their consciousness to participate in these plights over and over again. And, and I think right now, with the way the world is, people are, very impatient, and it's a thing to look at, especially as we enter into spring, and they're tired. They want to just have their peace. They don't want to be tolerant of one another. Yet, just like an athlete, this is that chance for you to really practice and even push through a little bit harder with yourself, no matter what you mean. And so what will often arrive when we're swinging high and swinging low, all those things, is humility. Humility or pride. So either you'll bow down to yourself and be like, whoa, what was that all about? That was disorienting. I need to take some time. And silence and meditation is the best thing, especially when one feels like they were part of some type of karma that they don't fully understand. There's little, wins, and then there's big wins, and then there's little aggressions, and there's big aggressions. And so when you don't fully understand, because it's kind of maybe something out of left field that occurred, especially if you were having a different perception, that's in that moments where the awareness gets lost. Because and I'll tell people this, when you're like moving and grooving, at any time that wave could drop out from underneath you, and it's to retain that awareness and to know where you need to dial back the volume on that vibration. Because if you imagine, if we have the ocean, and underneath are these afflictive emotions, we'll call them, and then above is this like easy to fly like an eagle vibration. Yet if you're pulling up too high or too fast, the opposing force can pull you back down rather quickly. And some of that's because of not having awareness of the entire set and setting, knowing like where everyone is at, or trying to discern where everyone is at. And that's where mindfulness comes in. And just to be aware. And if you don't know, silence is the best thing, because then you're really going to stay somewhat neutral and maybe stay out of someone's attempt to agitate. And the reason that you will have someone agitating from afflictive emotions is because they have some unresolved suffering, right? And they don't want to be in that vibration of the swing high yet. And so in that moment, what we're going to be seeing in humanity is that as those that are continually committed to retaining that vibration, there will be kind of checks and balances in that process, because the responsibility for each and every one of us to, if we so to choose, not cause suffering is rather important. And so what will happen, especially in the East, that we've talked about it before, you can go back and listen to it if you wish, Buddha with a stick. So right now we're coming out of this era where the squeaky wheel gets oiled, the victims get oiled, the predators get oiled, meaning that their dysfunction gets front row. And so now, as those that are choosing to work at and continue to get stronger at higher frequencies, they have an important responsibility to create protection, not only for themselves, but for others that are on a similar path. And that path is basically, especially from a Buddhist or a Taoist or a yogic lens, is to mitigate the suffering they cause, and to potentially, if they so to choose to have this as a vision or goal within their practice, is to end all suffering for all beings. And that's why in certain tribal situations and in certain Eastern practices, that is the daily prayer: may all beings everywhere be free and know the true causes of happiness, which is love. And that's, again, a simple statement that people will be like, all right, I got that. But there's different layers to that word love. In the lower realms, love is codependent. One's grasping for an experience with a romantic love. Love is maybe what a codependent love that you have with your children versus inviting your children to vibrate at a higher resonance with you in an interdependence versus codependence. And so as our society evolves, this is our opportunity to be in this higher resonance together. And that's the transition we're in right now. So the lead into this lunar cycle has shown quite clearly that it's a little bit of choppy waters. If you're ever gone boating or water skiing or something like that, choppy waters, you gotta like really stay alert and pay attention to where maybe you're landing or you're flying, how far up you're going to fly and how you're going to land on that water. If you're riding the rapids, again, staying alert, is at any moment you could be flipped and underwater. And again, even if that happens, that's okay, but that's an opportunity to see why did that happen. And so a simple way to start understanding when you reach the spaces above the water line, above the horizon, and then drop back down underwater. You go duck dive because you couldn't stay on that wave or above it. Is to meditate, is to be in silence, is to be reflective, and not to bring yourself into feeling bad about it. And this will be a very nuanced experience that we're going to be having as we continue on into this new era, this new chapter with humanity and the continued separation of fields, is that when you have that opportunity to say, this is where I want to be, it's no different than someone leaving an addict. They are choosing to be closer to their higher self versus to stay with the addict. And this would be where the addicts decided they don't want to get better. They don't want to be above their head above water. They want to stay underwater. And so each one of you has that choice. Do I want to stay above water, free and clear, in my mind, in my heart, in my actions? Or do I want to, rough and tumble, try to catch some waves, grasp at them, duck dive, swim back out? It's a choice. It's a total choice. So right now what happens is those that want to stay in the free and clear space, they will be exercising the protection and the Buddha with the stick. That is because there is a larger sequence of consciousness coming up into that realm. And I've mentioned this a while back, is that it kind of ends up being a little bit of a Lord of the Flies moment, because those that want to stay in the deepest depths of suffering are going to try to grasp and bring you down. And if you do get pulled under, I encourage you to get into a ball, orient, and then quickly move back to the surface. And this will be a great practice for you. And then once you get back to shore, this is a metaphor, then you can sit and reflect and understand what just happened. As we completely break free from some of these hungry energies, it could be a little bit rocky until we fully get there. So the good news is you can just decide, how do I want to be? Where do I want to be? And I'm going to keep practicing that. And I'm not going to give up. It's that discipline. It's that dedication to your higher states of being. It's work. It's not just love, peace, happiness. Woohoo. That's pretty much underwater, because a lot of times there's a lot of sense pleasures, grasping for all of that. It's really saying, I want to stay up here and hold my mind so that I stay clear of all that. And this is a great time to do it. If any time, at least for you in this lifetime, all of us in this lifetime, this is a great time to do it. Now, to help you also, like if you do get pulled under, and I mentioned going into that ball, almost the fetal position like you would when you entered your mom's womb, is holding that space. And this is good practice anyways for you, for the in-between states, even at your death gateway, is to hold that space and just imagine that nothing else exists in that moment, so you can retain your awareness. When we start to perceive things, then it can become more and more agitating. The waters can become rougher. When we let ourselves totally encapsulate and realize the emptiness in all things. That will help propel us back up into those higher states of being and help us stay there. And then this is the other curious part, because once you realize that all you need to worry about is right here in this moment, meaning that nothing else really exists other than what's unfolding perceptually around you. So you don't have to worry about all things because you're feeding into the quantum field right where you are. And if you continue to practice it, everything will manifest as it needs to help you untie those karmic knots, to help reconcile maybe past actions that we're not serving. And you have the willingness to really balance your books in that moment. If you don't, it'll keep repeating itself. And that's what humanity's been under, is we've been under this repeat process over and over again until we fully awaken to this next vantage, if you will. So the other component, so you have, choosing the clear space, the clear mind, the open heart. If you fall, realizing that it's intrinsically empty, meaning that you can gather yourself in your subatomical form, vibrating into the void, and then from there, propelling yourself into that clear space, out of this realm that can be quite jostling. If you don't want to be there, then you move to another place. It's like moving to another room where all things exist and nothing exists at the same time. And so the point is, when we're in that place of just perception, or it's non-verbal, it's a place where all things exist and they don't exist. What will happen is when someone intellectualizes the idea that when we go beyond, there's the intrinsic truth to it is that all things are present. However, people will use that as a spiritual manipulation to do whatever they want when they have not reached a little glimpse, a little mastery of knowing what exists in these higher states of being. And even when you start to reach these places, it's still work to retain there, and one can slip and then end up stuck in these places, these facets of their mind that they don't want to be. So just to think of it in the simplest form, that you decide if you want to swing high, swing low. If you fall back into a certain state of being that feels arduous, suffering, grasping, all those things, and it can perceptually feel good or negative, that you have a choice to bring it all to center, really bring yourself into that place of emptiness, just like if you were in a little ball of energy, and just like when you were in your mama's womb and you're not really sure where you are because it's rather dark and warm, but you can sense certain things, and then you decide, where do I want to resonate? Where, like a singer, like where do I want to put my voice? And in that clear open space, it allows you to meet all things free of karma. And that continues to serve not only you, but all beings. Imagine the more and more of us that are working towards this, which there are many throughout the universe and in this world system that have that plight, that are going, and then it starts to build momentum to stay in that space. Now, this can be bittersweet for people because they kind of maybe enjoy being in the suffering realm. And that's, again, okay. It's your choice. And once you come to that point where you're done really contributing to suffering, and you're ready to be in this free, clear space, you will start to make that effort. And then you'll have to practice bouncing back and forth between the two until you fully can hold it in that free, clear space. And in that space, many magical, mysterious things happen. And then you will have moved beyond. So we're going to go into meditation now. You can let all of that wash over you and just let it gently fall into the earth's energy. And then bring your breath all the way up into your heart center. And then exhale out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Another one, inhale. And exhale. And then gently from there, just stay upright and observing your breath. And soft gaze at a focal point down in front of you, or you can close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. Gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern.
Ane ye ane lam
Ane
Taking a soft, gentle breath into your heart center, gently breathing in and out. Again, inhale and exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And as you continue to breathe in and out, following that natural breathing pattern, I just gently welcome you to, when you're ready, come up into an upright seated position. Or you can stay where you are in Shavasana and just give yourself the space to be. And as we exit out today, I just welcome you for a moment just to give gratitude for all aspects of yourself and to give thanks for all that you are. I'm thankful for you. And then as you complete that, I welcome you to give thanks for someone beyond here and to give gratitude for their entire being or person, people, place that you might feel it's needed, wanted, and welcomed. gently from there, breathing in and out. And I want to just gently remind you as you move into the next that you do have a choice in every moment to decide where you want to be, where you want to retain your state of awareness, and to surrender to this purification process that we're all in as a human species here on the earth plane. And when or if those moments happen, decide how you want to return back to that state of being. And it might be through the simple concept of just going into the fetal position like you did in your mama's womb, and then coming back up into that clear, unencumbered, just open space, and play with it. You know, we have opportunities, and you can do that through meditation, just to simply see the idea and then sit in silence. And remember that in meditation, silent meditation, that is where you will gain the most strength. I understand there's a lot of things available. I mean, I even put random rav as the undertone in these, and that's so it's just not open space. Though the systems that we put these out on don't like airspace. They don't even like that on the radios. So, but you can do that in your home. Just sit in the pure silence and practice. So until next time, once again, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank Random Rav, Kadri Scott, Dante Marino for all contributing in your way. And until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a gentle smile, a soft gaze, a deep bow, and a namaste. Be simply.
The way your eyes feel on me makes me feel alright, and the way the hours away. I wanna see you lay down your power, kiss the moonlight and pray. And if your mind's not there, then can you tell me what's in the The way your eyes feel on me makes me feel alright. And the way your mind dreams for me grabs me and holds me tight.